Hiphoptictacticians of the world.
It's been a while, friend.
Since an in-person?
Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of like
you're
it.
usually the square on the screen.
I usually am. I like this.
Yeah, and today we've got a guest that really needs no introduction, but I'll give one anyhow.
Do it.
I've gone on record many times stating that this is my favorite MC, period.
Real
Not
talk.
Local,
Real
not
talk.
that I know, not that's sitting in my living room. Favorite MC. I don't know anybody actually that likes the beats that he likes to the extent that he does for the reasons that he does, and also anyone that sounds so effortless while on those beats. And I know it takes a lot of work to sound effortless,
It
so
does.
it's kind of an opposite thing, but yeah, from putting in all the time, and you absolutely have to have an appreciation of that music to put in that time and appreciate it the way that you and I both do, because we have many exchanges every week about the music that's coming out that we like. So I also figured since we do speak so often, I'd let Nat kind of take the lead on this interview today.
We'll see about that, because I know he's going to geek out and have a whole bunch more, so I think it's going to be a shared event.
So our guests, if you don't know who it is, Daxflow.
Welcome.
Hello, what's up? How are y'all?
Excited that you're here, buddy, man.
Thank you for having me. It was a hard place to find. You know, I don't really travel in this neck of the woods too often, but yeah.
I know it's the rough end of the schwa now.
A lot. You know what though? There's a lot of, like, why are the streets so narrow? But it's all good, man. Like, there's a lot of cars.
The streets are narrow. I found that the kids don't know how to play on the sidewalks or at the park. They really like to play their most often cricket games in the street.
Okay.
Oh boy.
But yeah, it's an interesting area.
Yeah, I felt like I was parking where I shouldn't be parking, to be honest. But it's all good.
Well, during the week, they keep the street pretty clear.
Right.
The college is right across the street.
Oh, yeah, that's
basically.
true.
So I'm right now doing the 3 vehicles between 2 parking spaces shuffle. So every morning I get up and I drive my truck 2 streets over to where parking's allowed all day. And then I walk home and get ready for work.
Wow.
And then sometime in the evening, bring my truck back here just so that I know it's okay, right?
in this area, because of the college or university, sorry, they ticket you.
Yeah.
Because people try to do, like, park on
And skip
this
paying
street or the street over just to get free.
Yeah, so it's just like a 5-minute walk maybe, but that's my new routine. So I got to sell a vehicle. If you know anyone that wants an old truck that can't be certified, hit me up. Doing the music.
Total sidebar.
Sidebar.
Oh my heavens. So, Mr. Daxflow.
What's up?
We play your music quite a bit,
Okay.
and I love every bit of it. I don't even know where I want to begin with my questions with you. I really don't. I do want this to be just like a straight, simple, fun convo.
Okay.
What I'm really interested in is your involvement with the King of the Dot? King of the Dot?
Right.
Tell me about that, because I don't know much of it. I hear it from Jay, but I know you've been involved for a very long time, so...
Yeah, you know, King of the Dot is something that came about, like, I'm not an official spokesperson of King of the Dot, just I want to let that be known before
For
anything.
sure.
So anything I say is just my personal opinion.
Of course.
But the owner of King of the Dot, co-owner, is a guy named Organic. That's my guy from a long time ago, because I used to do shows in Toronto a lot. So
Yeah.
I was at some venue doing a show, and this must have been 2007. So it was like when I was starting, kind of sort of like doing shows anyways. I've been rapping for millenniums, but the show part, there was a show that had some battles, and this is when Organic was a battler. So that's how I met him. We just bumped shoulders a couple of times. I was back in Toronto again. We bumped shoulders again, and then he said, I'm gonna start this thing called King of the Dot. And you know, that was something that started probably in 2009, late 2008, like to 2009 it started. And I was just there from the beginning. And that was just due to who I knew and kind of what I've done. I already had a lot of music created.
Right.
So they trusted my judgment in music. Like, obviously, our music is just music on beats and stuff like that. King of the Dot's a cappella battles, but they were just like, well, this guy knows how to format songs and understand structure. So we're gonna get him to be a judge. So I was like one of the I guess you call it like OG judges. So it's Toronto's rap battle league. So they do battles across basically the world now.
Wow.
So yeah, that's it. LA, New York, places like that.
I remember knowing that league had made it to like a different level when I saw a video for Cannabis, and then Cannabis get friggin' destroyed.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It's something that you'd expect to go a lot differently. Not to say you'd expect Cannabis to be like 1998 Cannabis or 99 Cannabis. It wasn't going to be like that, but you just expected it to go a lot normally with battles, especially big battles and battles that involve paychecks and things of that nature, you have a lot of time to prepare. So if you don't take the time to prepare and really prepare, because the battle rap style now, a cappella, think about it. It's hard to remember what you wrote because you're not making a song. You're making a song without the beat.
Right.
So how hard do you think that would be? Even though you don't like rap or sing or whatever that much, how hard do you think it would be to make a song without a beat? And remember it.
Yeah.
In a room full of people reacting to, like, it's weird.
So like on that, have you noticed a shift from like, did it start with more freestyle and now it's more prepared stuff? Or
I think it's always been prepared stuff, but you know, some of the original people that I can remember, like, and you have to remember, even the owner of King of the Dot, the main guy, him, Organic, he was super young, right? Like when I seen him, like I didn't come out starting with the rap stuff until I was probably like on the scene, on a stage, probably like 23, 24.
Okay.
But I had already been rapping for like 6 years, probably 5 years. So I was already rapping from a relatively young age, but it's just that it's different when you take your music and you bring it to a stage. You want to make sure you're ready for that, right? You don't want to go up there and, you know what I mean? 8 Mile it or something like that. Opening scene to 8 Mile. You don't want to do that. So you have to make sure that you're
absolutely
you're ready. You're ready for that, because Toronto in general and just the area, it's brutal, man. Like there's a lot of criticism, so you have to make sure that when it comes time for you to do that, your stuff's on point, because you will get, shamed, and you never know if you'll be able to return to it, right? So
definitely,
yeah.
And
that kind of pisses me off a little bit about the criticism, because it's one thing to give me constructive criticism. I can learn from that. But if it's just throwing shade just to throw shade, then I don't understand what's the whole purpose of it.
You have to understand that people are always going to be judgmental. Like, a lot of people heard my music. I used to do a thing when I was a lot younger called computer chilling, and it was literally just computer chilling. Like, anything I saw, like, I'd be like watching the TV or something, and I was like, yeah, I feel like remixing this song. Let me remix it. Yeah. Any song that came on. It could be like a T-Pain song. I'd remix it. People were like, yo, something's wrong with this guy, or he's drinking too much. One or the other. Something's really wrong with him. Like, why would he remix
buy you
that?
A drink, ho?
Yeah, like why would he remix that? So like a lot of things that I did, I just did it because I was like, yeah, anything on TV, most of it's kind of like, you know what I mean? I know that I could make way better music, but it doesn't mean it's gonna really translate to money. But at the end of the day, people only heard my music for a lot of years. They didn't even know what I looked like. This is before social media was a big thing, right?
Right.
I wasn't posting a lot of pictures of myself, and I'm a private person. Right. You know what I'm saying? People know where I live. Don't get me wrong. A couple people know where I live. Even you know where I live, right? But you could ask anybody where I live, and they'll be like, I have no fucking idea, right? Yeah. Like, this guy's probably homeless. They don't know, because I don't let just anybody show up to my front door, like, whatever, come pick something up, drop something off, whatever. Like, it's different. I have to actually trust the person, right? So a lot of people, they actually thought that Dax, like me, Daxflow, I was a white guy,
right?
Because of the way I sounded. Like, I had already been to 2 degrees of college and all this stuff, so the way I sounded and the way I spoke when I rapped, it wasn't like fluent enough. In the beginning, it just sounded too properly enunciated.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's because I listened to 50 Cent or whatever. Maybe I just, over the years, just changed the way I talk a little bit.
Speaking complete sentences.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. Like, you have to fully enunciate words, So, yeah, I was just over enunciating things because I wanted to make sure that whatever I was saying, people actually understood. So I didn't want to. This is before mumble rap was a thing too, right? So I didn't want to make it sound like, now it doesn't even matter. Like, people don't even need to understand your song fully. But it was just like any word I wanted to get out, I made sure that it was properly enunciated, and it was kind of overdone a little bit in the beginning. So I've changed that a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I think some of those ones that you're speaking of, that you made good music that you can't make money off of, obviously, like the industry beats.
Right.
I was telling Natalie earlier that your choice of those industry beats are like, I showed her the Erykah Badu one, the Honey Flow,
Oh,
which is one of my favorites.
God. Jeez, man.
I'm not sure who wrote that one. I'm joking.
But like not a lot of people would, not a lot of MCs I think would think to flip an Erykah Badu track,
No.
but you saw it from like, oh, Ninth Wonder made the beat. This sounds fucking dope.
Yes.
I could do something on this probably.
It was perfect.
I think that thank you. I think that any beat that you hear, if you want to create something on it, you can. I think it's easier to do it that way. You only have to look at beats like, just, take 8 bars of that beat and just think about, maybe your first 4 bars or whatever. All music is just repeating bars. Like it's just, once you have like your first 4 bars written down, you just got to write the same 4 bars, just in a different variation of that 4 bars you already wrote. So there, you already have half a verse if you have the 8 bars, right? So yeah, like any beat, it could even be an alternative beat or something different. All beats are the same, whether it's hip hop, punk rock, or whatever, any type of genre. All beats have you're counting the beat in a sense. So I mean, I think hip hop can go on almost anything. That's why you see a lot of weird choices of remixes, people taking acapellas, merging it to whatever beat. So there's a lot of different things that happen.
Yeah, and lately I've noticed that there's like a weird sort of trend for out of the pocket, offbeat rapping, no percussion. It's not always easy to listen to.
No.
Yeah. I mean, originally, sending my own music to radio stations, a lot of people told me that it was offbeat. But see, it's offbeat only in their eyes, like in regards to how music should sound to them. But you have to take into consideration the artists that are, streaming billions right now. Some of that music, I'd rather drive my car off the road and smash it into something like instead.
Well,
of like,
it just ain't it.
Like, and then you know what though, I'm super thankful that there's people out there that are creating music and making money like that. Like especially artists that are getting money off streaming, because how much they're being streamed. I'm not talking about enough to, get gas and some food or whatever. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like there's people obviously in Canada too that have they're hitting their $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, stuff like that. That's fine. But if people knew, and if consumers knew how little money that is, maybe they would support stuff that they liked a little bit more or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not an easy game.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's not something that you should get into for money, because if you want to make money, you should do literally any other job in the world. It'll be easier.
Yep. It's unfortunate we have to say that, but it's true.
And I remember back when I owned studios, like people would come in and they couldn't make it through their verses to get a recording done in an hour. To just record like a simple 16-bar verse, like they would waste a whole hour. Oh, run it back, punch me in, and then talk about like, oh, we're gonna get Lambos for the video. And okay, fellas, like,
yeah.
Can we get through this 4-bar stretch first?
It's that's insane. Like I've never even rented a car for a video. I've never really done anything like that for a video. I hope to have a link up, and I try to spend as little money as possible if I'm doing a video. But at the same time, it has to be that way, because like they say, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. Like you could take whatever money you've saved or whatever money you have, whatever. You don't even have to have money saved. Just swipe, and life keeps going, right? But I'm making the point that next week something else is gonna pop up. Next week something else is gonna pop up. What happens when you wasted all your money on like one little project or maybe one song, and then you go back home and you're just like,
well, especially if it's not timeless, right? Well, like if you're doing it, like if I'm thinking back, this is probably like 5 years ago. So 2019, whatever that song was isn't what's it right now.
It might not even be it next week.
Exactly.
The thing about timeless, it can't be the artist that decides that. It can't be the artist that's like, yeah, that's my best song. Like you could say that's my best song ever to your boys and your friends and stuff like that. That don't matter. But it can't be the artist that, you know, certifies that as something that's timeless. It has to be fans and listeners that are like, wow, like, you know what, this is something that I've never even heard this guy create before. So maybe, you know, maybe this is something that I could still see myself listening to in like 2 years. We'll say 2 months, because that's how fast music goes.
But like if we rewind back that same 5 years, when At the End of the Day came out,
right?
I could play I'm Tired Now and say it came out this week, and people are like, oh, this is dope. And I could say this came out in 1994, and people say, oh, this is dope. Or I could say this came out in 2005, and people say, oh, it's timeless.
You know that, and the funny thing about that song in particular, that's a Stay Cool Productions beat. They had that beat for so long, but they had the beat for so long, and it was one of those beats that you make as a producer. And I'm not saying that I had anything to do with the making of the beat. Obviously, it was Stay Cool Productions all day. Ryan Stay Cool, White, and Deviate, Dwayne. Like those guys had that beat for so long, and they kind of had, you know, their ideas, like in a sense of like who would sound good on it, who would sound good. Every day we go back, who would sound good on it. You know, next joint, who would sound good on it? Next joint, you're picking it. And I'm just like, yo, you guys might as well just give me the beat and let's go. Like let me create something to that beat, and I'll come back. Like I don't like creating on the spot, because I can, and I can do all the freestyling and all that stuff. I can do
but
that
if you let it simmer for a bit.
But I like to take it home and rehearse it and make it and make sure I'm ready to do it. So when I went back to do it, after I did the first verse, we sat there and mixing the first verse for like probably like a half an hour or so, just a little light mix. These guys were like, I don't even know how you said what you said in this verse. Like we kept rewinding it, blah, 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 right? So we knew it was gonna be something. Like hopefully, you know, you want your songs to be big, but big in on a local scene is a little bit different than just big. Like if it's like a, you know, even a province wide or Canada wide thing or whatever, like in North America. But you know, a lot of the times for things to really go to the next level, it takes money a lot of the time.
Definitely.
Too. Like you have to invest money into it somehow, right? So that's all it is.
I don't think there's one song I think is more perfect than that, and that's the intro from the B album by Common.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have a hook. It has a sweet instrumental intro. Percussion comes in.
Which one is that? Is that the doom 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 doom? Yeah, okay. Is that what it? I've never even heard the album.
Really like solid minute and 28 seconds or whatever, with like wanting more. And I feel the same way when I listen to that song. I'll just listen to it again.
That sounded almost like Dilla had something to do with that beat, in a way. But I don't know. It was different. But that was that.
Yeah, Kanye made that, I think.
Okay, was it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a good album.
It was a great album.
I skimmed it. When I say I didn't listen to it, I mean like I didn't listen to it. Like I can't tell you track 1 is this, track 2 is this, but I skimmed it. It was good.
Yeah, that's a start to finish album for me.
So I want you to do me a favor. You've been in this game for a minute.
Yeah.
Clearly. There's a lot of young ones out there now that are trying to do the exact same thing that you were able to accomplish. So what type of mentorship or what type of, I don't know, guidance could you throw out there for these young ones?
Well,
to prepare them for the game they're about to enter.
I would tell them that I don't know. A lot of people concern themselves with age a lot. You know, most people that are rapping, they'll get into it when they're 17, 18, 19 on a super young age. But I would say to them, you know, the music costs money. It's weird that it always goes back to money when that's really not what I'm out to make off of it. Like whatever, everybody has their bread and butter. I would say to them, you know, make sure you're working. Make sure you get something, man. Like remember back in the day, people would say your parents would say, man, even if you got a paper route or something, like, you know what I mean? Like little things like that. If you drive a car, there's no reason for you to be broke. This is why. There's so much different delivery services you could go and do. Yeah. At least to pay a couple bills off. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean you're gonna be like, you know, well off or anything like that. But it's like if you drive a car, then you need to be doing like a Uber Eats or something like that. Whatever, right? Like people knock it, but you know, it's better than nothing because when you have nothing, You could be doing nothing for like 4 or 5 years of your life, and then you're done.
Yeah.
There's people right now by my house at that in the Whitby Plaza, my old stomping grounds, and they got a cup out in Whitby. You know what I mean? They got a cup out where everybody's like, yeah, Whitby, everybody's rich. No, not really. But I'm saying they got a cup out, like it's Kennedy Road or like Ted Rogers Way in Jarvis or wherever. You know what I mean? Like people got cups out in the suburbs, man.
Yeah.
Meaning like they have nowhere to live. They could be a little scam, but who knows? I'm just saying, you got to grind out. And I'll be honest with you, like working a regular job, I didn't do that for a very long time, but I was always grinding.
Yeah.
If I was selling merch, I was selling merch. I probably sold more merch than I sold music. But merch for me, it goes way back. I used to go to distributors and try to get the best deals and do the hoodies and the booty shorts and all these weird things. And I found that it made me a lot more money than, music. I come from the mixtape, like selling the Slim Jewel things and all that. So, now it's just streaming. Now you could just distro kid something and just pop it up there. That's fine. But a lot of the times nobody hears it. Well, and that's the only problem with it, right?
That's the problem too, is the oversaturation, right? Like if you're constantly hitting me in the head with new track, it's like, well, I can't listen to this new track because I still haven't listened to the last 3 you sent.
Yeah.
And I've told B1 this many times. Like, I love everything you make. I gotta catch up one day because I can't keep up.
Yeah.
I think B1's sick.
And he makes such great music, but the amount that he puts out, I'll never hear it all.
Yeah.
Too much.
I'm struggling with that too.
But for B1, he's young. Mm-hmm. When you're younger, you'll find yourself, you might do 3 songs in one day.
Yeah.
Right? It's not that older artists can't do that too, but it's just that sometimes you just don't feel like recording music.
Yep.
Right? It could be one of those days, like it happens. Like I remember I only met B1 like once or twice.
Yep.
And one time I met him, it was in a studio, and they came there to get busy, like to record. You know what I mean? And I was there, like I ain't even here to record. Like all that. Like sometimes I don't care about, people say you're good at something, or people say, oh, like this one that this guy made is whatever. Like sometimes in certain days, I'm like, well, today I'm just gonna drink.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you're gonna drink? That's an event. I'm like, well, yeah, for me it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every once in a while, I'm just gonna drink, and that's what I'm gonna do, right? So, music, no, none of that. We can get back to that next week or later on. You know what I mean? But
I think a lot of times, like the difference between a younger artist and a more seasoned artist is like what Jay-Z said. He spent 26 years making Reasonable Doubt, and then like 8 months making the rest of his albums.
Yeah.
As far as like having content ready to go all the time, right?
Yeah. So true. So friggin' true.
He's intrigued by the mic.
He is.
I'm just making sure it's on.
It is. It should be. It better be.
Oh yeah, it's on. We got levels on all of them.
No, but I might have pressed the power button, right? I'm just double checking. So I'm holding it on. I'm looking at it, thinking there's supposed to be numbers on the.
Yeah.
So,
well, you're not holding it like this, which is like.
I don't do that. The one thing about me, even if my shows sometimes ain't the greatest, you can tell that I've had a long day, and you can tell that I'm not myself.
Yep.
I never will sound like, I can't hear him. It'll just sound like wild, you know what I mean? Or I might be doing my rapping songs, obviously, and I might be spitting some comedy in between. Be like, why is this guy talking so much? But I'm different, man. I like to be random. I'm spontaneous, and I switch it up. Sometimes when I perform my songs, I don't even say the original lyrics to the song. Like people will be like, yo, I know this song. Why is that saying different words? It's because sometimes I honestly, just don't care. Like I don't care enough.
I would rather hear you say different words than have the vocals in your tracks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I would rather hear a completely unique performance that no one's ever going to hear this.
Yep.
And maybe I'm in the audience holding up a phone.
Yeah.
And now I've got like an exclusive. No one's ever going to hear him say this verse this way again. as opposed to, okay, I don't remember all my lyrics necessarily, so let me put all of them in all of my tracks and just show you what you could listen to in your living room.
I remember all lyrics. I can probably quote you songs from 20 years ago or whatever, however long ago. But the point I'm trying to make is I'd rather sometimes throw on a primo beat, but then do a song that, you know, maybe people are familiar with the lyrics and do that over the beat instead.
Right.
I used to always start shows like that because it's like makes people think, oh, maybe this guy has no original music. Maybe he's just gonna go up there and just do all remixes or something like that.
Right.
But then you just work your way into your original stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people think, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to do it, man. And a lot of artists, they don't have it in them to do certain things. Like, you know, say an artist has a song, you've been hearing the song, it's been in rotation for a good year and a half. They can't even take those same lyrics and put them on a different beat on the fly. They can't do it, but they don't realize hip hop has always been the same. You could bring a beat up from, God, like the early 80s if you wanted to, and it's going to sound the same. It's going to sound different because the sounds are different.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're still going to have those typical 84 BPM or whatever beats out there, and they still sound the same. You know what I mean? Pull up an old KRS-One beat. Pull up like an original LL Cool J beat, which he made himself. They still sound the same, but those beats just sound like older beats compared to the beats that are coming out now, right? You know, everything's kind of changed up a little bit, but I'm just making the point that, you know, there's just so much different ways to do music now. There's so much different ways to create it, and there's so much different, you know, ways to just make it, ways to write it, type it in your phone. Some people don't even write.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? So
well, and
I have books of my lyrics that I write out. I don't put right there, and I've got another one that I don't use my phone. But so I don't understand how people don't write it out. Like I thought, I don't know. It's just that, am I too old? Is that old school? I
think that the average artist is texting it into his phone.
Good God.
Right?
I'm old.
Like if I had a song, if I had 4 bars in my head that I had written, because you can write a short amount. You can write a short amount in your head if you wanted to. Yeah. Like if you're like, oh, you know, 1 line.
Yeah.
And,
if
you know,
you're
2
working
lines.
at a job where you're doing something repetitive, you can work out like 8 bars, and then on your break, like fire it into the notes app. Or
yeah. So the odd time, if I have something in my head that is something I just thought of, I'll text it to somebody.
Yeah.
Because I know they're gonna respond like, Dax, is that you? Like they're gonna respond. They'll be like, yo, what the hell is this guy talking about, right?
And then you take a screenshot and you're like, there's my copyright.
It's just so you remember it for when you go put and do it in your regular writing format, right? So yeah.
Well, no. I found too a lot of guys would show up to the studio and think that they were Jay-Z or Lil Wayne or Biggie and just try that.
I like how you said that.
I mean, that takes a certain type of skill. There's many studio sessions I've gone to where you'll see me and the rhymes are in my head, but I'm not gonna act like I'm freestyling those. Yeah. You know what I mean? Maybe like if it was like a very, very long time ago, I was probably capable of freestyling a lot more. But I would never act like rhymes that I wrote and memorized and came through with no paper, no, not reading off anything, and I, you know, make a song. I would never act like that's freestyle.
No.
Even though a freestyle in different places in the world, different hemispheres or whatever you want to call it, that's considered you rhyming on a beat.
Okay, so
you know what I'm saying?
So instead of using the word freestyle, we'll say you won't say it's improvised.
Right.
Because that's a clear definition.
Clear.
Yeah. So yeah, there are, you know, there's such thing as true freestyles and all of that, but you know, I don't think that a lot of people like Lil Wayne, Jay-Z, guys like that, I believe they're actually freestyling, and you can tell.
Well, you can definitely tell in a little, like, I've always not been a huge Wayne fan.
Okay.
And when I found out that that's the way that he records, I thought, well, maybe if you spent a little time and wrote it down and then went through it and was like, oh, I said the same word like 15 times in that verse, maybe I'll like
take it out,
pull up a thesaurus or a rhyming dictionary and like work this a little bit.
He created that lane for himself, and you know, the lane that he created, a lot of people, to be honest, a lot of people aren't even old enough to know how long Lil Wayne's been out for and where he came from and things of that nature. And the fact that he shot himself, Like
Yeah.
the stories about Lil Wayne and all the stuff, the alleged drug addiction and all that type of stuff they talk about. The fact that he's even alive, you know what I mean, and considered to be one of the greatest is crazy to me. Like, you know, but Lil Wayne's put in his work, and he has a lot of albums, and we'll include mixtapes with that because some of his mixtapes are like albums. So it's like, you know what I mean?
His catalog is great.
Yeah. And you know, Lil Wayne, he's put in a category like Jay-Z and Snoop Dogg too, because when you hear him, and Drake, I'm gonna put Drake in it too. And the reason why I say that is because when you hear them, you could never in your life mistake them for somebody else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Unlike the average person you hear, you don't know if it's Little Who or Little That. You don't know who it is because you're just like, damn, those dudes sound alike.
Yeah, definitely.
You'll never get that with Drake. You'll screw AI and all that, like with the thing, because the AI thing is messing things up. But you'll never get that with someone like Drake. You'll never get that with Wayne. You'll never get that with Jay-Z. You'll never even get that with Rick Ross. Even though I'm not like, you know, huge on what he's doing, I'm just making the point. You know, like there's certain people that sound like how they sound. Busta is Busta as well. Busta as well. The Busta Bust 2 video just came out. And that was interesting. But yeah.
So you're familiar with Drink Champs?
Yeah.
I had an idea for a game without the drinks and without the choice to be politically correct.
Okay.
So we're gonna play our little version of Quick Timer Slime, which just means you have to pick one and say why.
Okay.
Okay.
No drinks, no ties.
No ties. Okay.
Fonte or Big Pooh?
Fonte. I think Fonte is probably one of the greatest lyricists, maybe even ever. Right? I put Fonte probably in top 10 of all time, and the reason why I'm saying that, like, Fonte may have first came on the scene, maybe he first started popping out like maybe 1999 or something like that. Originally 2000, something like that. But you have to take into consideration that's 24 years, and he's still putting out good songs to this year. If you even take the new Foreign Exchange or whatever, like they've dropped the Pacific EP, even that is decent. Even though it's majority singing, the singing it is what it is, right? I come from a background of singing. I don't sing now, obviously. Maybe I just maybe there's just been too much trauma on my lungs or something. I don't know, with the smoking and the drinking. Who knows? But I'm making the point that Fonte, I'd pick him. But Big Pooh also does really good music. And together, they're like Batman and Robin. So those are two of my favorites. Lil Brother's one of my favorite groups of all time as well.
Absolutely. Primo or Pete Rock?
I'm gonna say it depends, really. But I would say both. But realistically, if it's me choosing to what I want to listen to, I'd probably say Primo. Even though Pete Rock is still more jazzy and laid back and soulful in that sense, Primo's, you know, more likely to do you know, songs with a commercial artist. Like that's how big Primo got, right? Christina Aguilera, you know what I mean? Like back in those days, like things of that nature. But yeah, if I had my choice, I'd probably say Primo, even though, you know, again, P Rock Soul Survivor. I don't know why everything goes back to 1998. It's so weird. But like certain albums like are just over the top for me, like, you know, so it's hard to not pick Pete Rock, but I'd have to say Primo on that one.
Low End Theory or Midnight Marauders?
Midnight Marauders. I would say definitely Midnight Marauders. It did more for me, man. Like it did more for me, like in regards to, this is going back to like almost like tape deck era, but that album was like a lot smoother for me. It did more for me.
Sorry, I have to interrupt. As soon as he said tape deck era, I'm like, I was in my closet today, and you know what I found? My Walkman.
What was in it?
Oh, I didn't open it. I should have opened it. Oh my god, I didn't even think to open it.
Oh, what's the last tape you listened to?
Oh god, what was it? I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm gonna do it when I go home, and I'm gonna tape it.
What Walkman was it?
It was a Sony Walkman. It was one that had the rewind and fast forward.
Okay.
It was a greenish, purplish colored one. Had a clip that I could control properly.
So you probably have a 1998 era tape in there right now.
Oh my god!
I bet you have
Am I excited? That's all because of you.
My money's on Brandy and Monica, The Boy Is Mine.
Oh shit, that could have been.
The boy
It could have been. It really could have been. It really could have been. Or it could have been Jay-Z. Because I was like really pumping Jay-Z back then too.
Yeah.
But on yours, probably Monica and Brandy.
Reasonable Doubt or Blueprint? She said Jay-Z.
You know, I'm gonna say Blueprint. Most people would say Reasonable Doubt, right? Because it took like 2 decades for that to go platinum.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, I prefer Blueprint. Blueprint 1. I prefer.
Mhm. Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, like over.
We'll be clear on that.
Yes.
Reasonable Doubt is a good album, but you have to take into consideration. Just put it against the Blueprint and go song by song by song by song by
Oh,
song.
Blueprint
Right?
is
I would give it to Blueprint.
crazy.
I give it to Blueprint over that, even though Reasonable Doubt's more classic because it came out before it.
Well,
you
just
know?
the production on Blueprint. I mean, the way that he put those guys against each other, like Bink,
Yep.
Heatmakers, Kanye, and Just Blaze. Like, here's an unlimited budget for soul samples. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Like,
That'd be nice to actually have a proper sample cleared at some point in life. Like that like when they started doing that, like even like though everything to do with the whole Rockefeller era, even though like obviously that crumbled, right?
Mhm.
But the
Yeah.
whole thing is like it's such a long period of time where
yeah.
they were making good music, they were hitting every radio station, they were
Every
doing their
radio
freestyle.
station.
So
Yep.
that's something I'll never forget.
Mhm.
I remember when before Beanie Siegel caught his health problem.
Mhm.
I remember when he had his full voice. I remember when Freeway, you know what I mean? I remember all these guys, and that stuff I would listen to over and over again. You know,
Well,
I
that
loved
was
it.
that was actually going to be my next question. Siegel or Freeway?
It depends, right? Because I'd have to say Freeway because Freeway's still putting out consistent albums to this day,
Mhm.
Yeah.
while Beanie Siegel is not really putting out albums anymore, right?
Right.
Beanie Siegel
That's
still
fair.
made a couple songs here and there, but people have to consider and take into consideration that people do catch health issues, and I think that Beanie Siegel's one of them. I don't know the exact details of what happened to him, but you can tell just by hearing him talk that he either lost a lung or something. There's something that was going on with
Yeah.
Beanie Siegel, and you can tell, right? That's what was it? The Broad Street Bully or whatever bully nickname he had. His voice was the standout
Mhm.
characteristic of his character,
Yeah.
and then now you can tell that his voice doesn't have that strength anymore.
Yeah.
So something happened to him.
Oh, definitely.
I just
yeah.
don't know what, because to be honest, I don't really pay attention to social media too crazy, but something happened to Sieg, and it's sad, you know what I mean? But that's what happens. And something even happened to Freeway.
Yeah.
Freeway just recovered better, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
He had a heart issue, I think.
Something like
Yeah.
But he just made an album with I don't know what it's called, but it's with Jake One.
Jake won, yeah.
And that album's pretty good.
It's very
that,
good.
that album has some songs on it. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. That album has some songs on it. Like, so
So yeah, in that lane of like Beanie Siegel's health, got kind of an ethical direction we could go. I heard an interview recently with DOC,
right.
and he was talking about using AI to put out albums because
I
he's
saw
obviously
that.
got the crush windpipe, and Beanie Siegel's got the vocal impediment as well. What are your thoughts on, people with handicaps using the technology to make music?
I think
a good one.
the technology's there for a reason, and I think that they might have to put some rules in place
Yes.
that have to do with like money they could make
Yes.
off of something that's created
Yeah.
with AI. That's why you saw the whole like with the Kendrick and Drake beef thing.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the whole when he put out the Snoop Dogg AI and the Tupac AI, and then somebody threatened to sue him, and then he pulled the songs down. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact way that went because I don't know Drake personally. I'm just making the point that
Yeah.
what the internet was saying, that's what happened. There has to be rules with AI. Everybody knows AI is going to be taking jobs and all that stuff, and I get it. And that's jobs in hip hop too.
Yep.
And
AI,
it has been for centuries. They just haven't called it AI. Like, it's always
Right.
been some form of technology that makes life easier, that puts someone out of a manual labor job,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
I remember when I was working at SoCan, and the talk of AI was just
Mhm.
starting to reach the ears of all the different industry makers, and There's a lot against it.
And for good reason.
A lot against it. And I was a part of that. I didn't I'm still kind of on that lane. I'm not a fan of that's the path that we're gonna end up going down.
And I think sometimes that because over the last 20 years, let's say, home recording has become so affordable.
Yep.
Clearly.
And then when you add the AI factor in, it makes it so much more difficult to tell if something's like someone's got talent or if they're a studio wizard. Right. I think that maybe that is also reflective of how recorded music doesn't make you a lot of money now. And you have to stand out as a live performer.
You really do.
In order to make, and maybe that's just like some kind of revolution in the way it, because back before recorded music, that's how you did it, right? Like,
it's true.
So now it might be like, because as we said, we're so oversaturated with new music releases that you can listen to in your headphones or in your living room or in your car. The live music experience might be what music lovers come to appreciate more than the recorded music.
Yeah.
Because, my daughter could sit upstairs and say, make me a song that says this, and hit process, and
there you go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
But she's not going to be able to stand on a stage in front of a few thousand people and command that attention.
No.
Yeah, like I know that you brought it up because DOC, he did lose his voice, whatever, but he still does his his Vlad interviews, and he does interviews out there. I think that if AI is going to be the route for that, then he at least has to make sure that he's still the one, or has something to do with the writing of it. Because the biggest issue with AI, I think, is the fact that you can tell it to make a Drake type song and it makes it.
Yeah.
Without Drake coming in and writing it, or however that goes, because everybody has their opinions on how that goes. Anyways, with Drake himself, right? Everybody has their opinions on that. Who knows? But I'm just making the point that now it's like, okay, let's make a happy song. Let's make a happy song about like this, and this, and AI can make that for you. You know what I mean? Which is weird.
I mean, like in a perfect world, he would write the songs, pick the beats, record them in whisper form or whatever, and then just press a button that says, make me sound like I did in 1988.
Yeah.
And voila.
I have no problem with that, as long as he is still behind the creation of it, and the AI is only used to change his voice.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think you using AI to change your voice is going to be, that's not going to be a problem, as long as it is your voice.
And obviously, like, that wouldn't translate to his live performance, so he wouldn't be able to captivate the people the same way that, someone doing it live would, right? Yeah. So, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? We're definitely already on that path. Definitely. It's just those who use it, just be mindful and just protect your intellectual work. That's it. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
And make sure that that's a truthful thing. Like, that we can protect our intellectual work even though we're using AI. I don't want any bullshit from the copyright society, Copyright of Canada, to come out and say, oh, because you used it, you can't have this played on A, B, and C. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to come up with this stupid rule. I already can see something like that, because that's just the way that the industry is.
I think that AI is there for a reason, and I think as long as it's used properly, it's going to benefit people. You know what I'm saying? If it's a quicker way for someone to go out and make money, I'm all for it. I don't really care. I personally won't indulge in it myself, and I don't care how anybody really makes their money. But I still think that AI, it's there for a reason. Like I had a big work meeting the other day. Like work, we don't gotta say where I work, but I had a work meeting, and they were bringing up AI, and I was like, yo, you guys need to be worried about having people, like real people here that can do their job properly. I didn't say it, but I was thinking it, and on a regular day, if it wasn't gonna affect my livelihood, I would have said something, but I didn't bother, because I've made that mistake of always being the person that's gonna say something about something that's bothering you at the moment, and I always get in trouble for it. And I had to stop. You know what I mean? So I was just like, oh man, I think I gotta go to the washroom right now. So like I kind of like I turned my camera off and I left the meeting. And like it's just when they start talking AI, it's like, what do you mean? Like I was trying to understand what they meant by it, right? Because you could use AI in so much different ways.
Yes.
What part of AI do you plan on using for this? Like,
but then when the AI doesn't work,
yeah,
and you say like, hey, what am I supposed to do? And they say put in a ticket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that ticket would come to me,
Yeah.
and I'd have to sit there and figure that.
You know.
Okay. Yeah, maybe roll my eyes some more about that, but anyhow.
Yeah.
I want you to, before you leave, you have to tell me how many songs can I make him pick for us. I know
Well, we're gonna
playing,
fill the whole 2 hours with his music, so
so
maybe make him pick songs that aren't his,
oh,
and then we'll fill the rest with his music.
so you know we're like this is all about you.
Okay, cool.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So I can.
So like 3 non-his, maybe. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
You need to pick from
Any era, any genre, even.
And-
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Ooh, okay, so you know the drill. You have to pick 3. Tell me 3 songs, any genre, any era that you want us to play.
I'll say I'll be honest with you. I'm not as old as I look, right? But I'll say Big Daddy Kane, Smooth Operator,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
People are like, Big Daddy Kane, who's this guy? Was this guy in the war? Like, you know,
Having flashbacks from Nam.
you know what I mean? It's crazy, right? Because when things changed over from, you know, the 1980s to 1990s to 2000, I think people think that it jumped by 200 years or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because when people hear like your year of birth, sometimes it's just like, man, were you around when? You know, like, you look crazy, but yeah, but definitely you gotta play some Big Daddy Kane.
Okay. 1, 2.
I'm just picking random songs, so that was like 87. Well, I guess anything related to Diddy's out, right?
Okay, so here is "Satisfy You" by Diddy and R. Kelly.
Oh God! You know what though? Speaking of that, hey, I was thinking like because I said 1987, and I'm like, yes, it's 97.
Take that.
He was hot in 97.
Mace.
Oh shit! I was gonna say Mace, looking at me. You know what I mean? But then I thought to myself, damn, Diddy's behind all that, so I don't know. Here's the
Yeah,
thing, though.
and that's the rough part because there's so much good music that has him grunting in the background.
You know what though? Like I still on the real shit. Like I still say innocent till proven guilty. Everybody deserves their day in court, no matter what evidence is put against them. So you never know with Diddy, and Diddy's still worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I've seen weird things happen in court on a local level.
Yeah.
And these people didn't even really have money. It might have been their lucky day. I don't know, but
true.
I'm just letting you know that Diddy has Shapiro and them, like those type of lawyers.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? He has whatever, like OJ's people.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
does.
Like those type of guys.
Yes, he does.
Big lawyers. You know,
Mhm.
so I've seen weirder things happen. I mean, it still has to be proven.
Yeah.
It does.
What, their prime suspect is still Cassie? Come on.
Okay, so
She
can't
already
nobody hold me
took
down.
money. She already took money. She's crazy. She already did a civil suit. Took money.
Okay, victory.
Yeah. So yeah, 87. So now I'm thinking like mid 90s. I would still have to pick a Biggie song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost like in that range. But you know, I'll go Jay-Z. I'll pick like what the hell's that damn song called though? I'll say Jay-Z and Foxy, Sunshine.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'll say that.
That's been a song.
I think obviously the sample has been overused and used for years, but I don't know.
I blame that song on. I like that song. I don't think it was a good single choice for the album.
Probably not. Foxy was hot though at those times, man.
But because what you said, the time it came out, Puffy and Mace were like the main shit. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, put out the video with the lights on the dance floor and
Yep.
stuff instead of Where I'm From.
Yep. I don't know about the video, but the song.
Yeah.
I thought the song was hot.
Oh, the song's yeah,
you know what I
definitely.
mean? So, like, yeah, the video. I probably have to pull it up later and look at it again. But yeah, I'd say that song. Like, I'm thinking because I said Big Daddy Kane thing, and then in the 2000s, there's so much, right? But I'll probably say Little Brother, Slow It Down.
Okay.
That would have probably been like what a very long time ago. 04, 03?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 03, 02.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, I think that was on the original album. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. I like that.
Yeah.
Good picks. Yeah, you had me.
Matter of fact, I think the song was called Speed because I'm
Yeah.
slipping my
I know the
head.
one you mean.
Yeah, it's Speed.
Got it.
Yeah.
You got it. You got that.
Got it.
I know you like Little Brothers. That works. That works.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. So I know that again. You have a great catalog and everything. Are you going to be making anything new anytime soon, or are we just sitting back and just enjoying what we have around us?
Well, I'm always on the verge of making something new
I like
because it doesn't really take a lot. It just takes having the beat and the time, and obviously I have time, right? Especially on weekends, right, to do things. So it's more so, I like to pick beats in groups of beats though. I don't like to just pick one because then you have one trap sounding song or something like that. Obviously, I don't make trap music, but you have one trap sounding song, and then your other song sounds commercial. Then your other song sounds like Jay Dilla would have made that sort of beat.
Right.
So then you have 3 songs, but they all sound completely different. That's why I like to pick like 3 beats from a producer or something like that, or 2 or something like that. So
you got a bit of variety.
yeah, like with the creation of music, it can happen, and it's a really simple process, right? My thing is, I just want it to sound good when I make it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the times you might start recording some music or whatever, because anyone could just hit record in whatever way they do it, but you have to like the way it sounds, right?
Okay.
And I think that a lot of people's setups, I think sometimes your mic setup is going to be the first issue, right? For a lot of people.
Right.
So yeah, there's always new music in the works. There's nothing really, I don't have anything really scheduled right now. But yeah, most definitely. There's always music in the works.
Awesome. I'm very excited to hear that. And I can't wait to hear that work. Because I'll be frank, the moment I heard you on the Erica track, I said to him, we need to collaborate.
Okay.
Because Erica's my favorite, and your flow, I feel like we would be able to do something.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Okay. I like the way you speak with your hands. It helps emphasize what you're trying to say. Yeah. You're
Good thing he
orchestrating.
has the auto zooming camera, not us. Jeez,
Throwing
throwing it all over the place.
But I'm definitely looking forward to whenever we can have that opportunity. And
Yeah.
of course, my wonderful DJ here would have to be a part of that wonderful creation.
Yeah, well, knowing someone like Tactic is good because he does so much different things. Like a lot of people that maybe you only listen to his radio show or something like that, but you don't know him in person.
Yeah.
This guy's running around everywhere, man. This guy goes and does shows, and I'm like, you should be careful at that show because and I gotta try to give the guy the scenario. I'm like, you should be careful because this guy don't like this guy, that guy don't like him. He's like, I'll be all right. I'll wear comfortable shoes just in case I gotta run. No, I'm joking. But yeah, no, this guy.
And it's tougher now because I'm 41. I've never been in a fight in my life, and my backup plan has always been I've got a pocket full of change. I'll just throw it in someone's face and run.
Yep.
But I don't use cash anymore, so I don't have that change. I really have no good strategy now.
That pocket full of change is a serious weapon, man.
It is.
Go a long way. That change go a long way.
Exactly.
Not in real life for buying things.
And now what I'm going to do? Throw my car keys? Then I'm screwed. Flashbang.
Yeah, we're gonna have to think of something for the next time. But you're not in those type of.
I've never had to throw the change.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Everybody needs a DJ though. It could be a friggin' what is it called? Backpack rapper. It could be a commercial rapper, and it could be a thug rapper. It could be a rapper that's actually in the trap.
Yeah.
But you know what? DJs are still needed, and that's a good thing about music.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I think that's a
Yeah. Thanks so much for spending the afternoon with us, sir.
Oh, goody, man. All good.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Thanks. I just geeked out a little.
Tell them where to follow you.
You can follow me on all social media, but normally, if you're trying to direct message me, it'll be Instagram. I'm Daxflow KOTD. I still rep King of the Dot all day. You could follow me. I'm Daxflow on anything, like Daxflow.com is still there. That site actually needs to be updated, but it is there if you want to contact me that way. Twitter, Daxflow. And Google Daxflow or Daxflow KOTD.
Do
YouTube.
it.
Do it.
You'll see
Do
some
it.
stuff.
Do it. If you
Peace.
don't, you're stupid.
Stupid. What are you, stupid?
What are you, dumb? Yeah, I said it. And I hate saying that. All right, y'all. Till next week, everyone stay blessed.
Keep fit and have fun.